The FIS Alpine Ski World Cup is the top international circuit of alpine skiing competitions. Launched in 1966 by a group of ski racing friends and experts which included French journalist Serge Lang and the alpine ski team directors from France, Honore Bonnet, and the USA, Bob Beattie. It was soon backed by International Ski Federation President Marc Hodler during the FIS Alpine World Ski Championships 1966 at Portillo, Chile, and became an official FIS event in the spring of 1967 after the FIS Congress at Beirut, Lebanon. The first World Cup ski race was held in Berchtesgaden, West Germany, on January 5, 1967. Jean-Claude Killy of France and Nancy Greene of Canada were the overall winners for the first two seasons. Competitors attempt to achieve the best time in 4 disciplines: slalom, giant slalom, Super G, and downhill. The fifth event, the combined, employs the downhill and slalom. The World Cup originally included only slalom, giant slalom, and downhill races. Combined events, calculated using results from selected downhill and slalom races, were included starting with the 1974-75 season, while the Super G was added for the 1982-83 season. The current scoring system was implemented in the 1991-92 season. For every race, points are awarded to the top 30 finishes, 100 points to the winner, 80 for second, 60 for third, winding down to 1 point for 30th place. The racer with the most points at the end of the season in mid-March wins the cup, with the trophy consisting of a 9-kilogram crystal globe. Sub-prizes are also awarded in each individual race discipline, with a smaller 3.5 kilograms crystal globe. See the section on scoring system below for more information. The World Cup is held annually, and is considered the premier competition for alpine ski racing after the quadrennial Winter Olympics. Many consider the World Cup to be a more valuable title than the Olympics or the biennial World Championships, since it requires a competitor to ski at an extremely high level in several disciplines throughout the season, and not just in one race. Races are hosted primarily at ski resorts in the Alps in Europe, with regular stops in Scandinavia, North America, and East Asia, but a few races have also been held in the Southern Hemisphere. World Cup competitions have been hosted in 25 different countries around the world: Andorra, Argentina, Australia, Austria, Bosnia, Bulgaria, Canada, Croatia, Czech Republic, Finland, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, New Zealand, Norway, Poland, Russia, Slovakia, Slovenia, South Korea, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, and the United States. Note that all World Cup races hosted at ski resorts in Bosnia and Slovakia were held when those countries were still part of Yugoslavia and Czechoslovakia respectively. Lower competitive circuits include the Norum Cup in North America and the Europa Cup in Europe. Overall winners. Multiple individual overall World Cup winners are marked with #. For a complete list of winners in each discipline, see Alpine Skiing World Cup Men and Alpine Skiing World Cup Women. Overall titles. The following skiers have at least 3 overall Alpine World Cup titles. Discipline titles. Combined Crystal Globe was officially awarded from 2007 to 2012. However, there are counted all-season titles, both official and unofficial. The records for most World Cup titles in each discipline are as follows. For a complete list of winners in each discipline, see Alpine Skiing World Cup Men and Alpine Skiing World Cup Women. Greatest alpine skiers of all time, based on Ski Database Super Ranking System. Since 1966, this is a scoring system calculating points together from 3 categories: Olympic Games, World Championships and World Cup. Overall titles, discipline titles and individual top 10 results. Men's Super Ranking. Ladies Super Ranking. As of the 18th of February 2017. Most World Cup wins in each discipline. The records for most World Cup wins in each discipline are as follows. As of the 22nd of January 2017. Men. Ladies. Various records. Note: only Crystal Globe awarded discipline officially counts as titles, and medals awarded DH, GS, SL disciplines in seasons 1967 to 1977 as well. Combined Crystal Globe was officially awarded only in seasons 2007 to 2012. Most successful race winners. A common measurement of how good individual skiers are is the total number of World Cup races won during their skiing career. The following skiers have won at least 20 World Cup races. See also the complete list of FIS Alpine Ski World Cup race winners, men, as of the 29th of January 2017. Note: Hermann Maier was disqualified after winning the GS race in Val d'Isère in December 1997 for removing one ski before the official red line. See also the complete list of FIS Alpine Ski World Cup race winners, women, as of the 31st of January 2017. Note: only parallel events from 1975, 1997, 2011 to 2013, which count for overall ranking, included on this list, are considered as official individual World Cup victories. 20 wins and more in speed technical events. Note: Super G not contested at that time. Note: parallel events are not included in the list. His slalom wins. Top results. Note: only parallel events from 1975, 1997, 2011 to 2013, 2016, which count for overall ranking, included on this list, are considered as official individual World Cup victories. All event winners. Only a few of the most versatile racers have ever managed to win races in all 5 World Cup alpine skiing disciplines during their career, as listed in the table below. Marc Girardelli, 1988-89. Petra Kronberger, 1990-91. Janica Kostelic, 2005-6. And Tina Mays, 2012-13, are the only skiers to have won all 5 events in a single season. Of these, Tina Mays is the only one to have won 5 different events in a row within a single season. 2012-13. Between December 16 and March 2. Bode Miller is the only skier with at least 5 World Cup victories in all 5 disciplines, since the combined was not introduced until the 1974-75 season and the Super G until 1982-83. The following list also includes those racers who won races in all disciplines contested during their World Cup careers. Events not contested are marked by NA. Times equals number of times an all-event win cycle was completed. Seasons equals number of seasons in which an all-event win cycle was achieved. Michelle Jacquet, the only female French alpine skiing World Cup overall winner, 1970, would be part of this list, if only she had finished her career, 1968 to 1975, 1 year earlier. From 1969 to 1971 she achieved 10 victories, 1 downhill, 6 giant slaloms, 3 slaloms, but in her last season 1974-75 the combined was introduced, and she could not add a victory in this discipline. Most race wins in a single season. The following skiers have won at least 10 World Cup races in a single season. Events not available in a given season are marked by NA. Ladies. Timeline calendar. Last updated. The 31st of January 2017. Most race wins in consecutive seasons. Youngest and oldest World Cup winners. The youngest person ever to win a World Cup race is Christa Zechmeister of West Germany, who won a slalom in Val d'Isère, France, in December 1973 at the age of 16 years, 4 days. Several other women have also won World Cup races at age 16. The youngest men's World Cup race winner is Piero Gross of Italy, who won a giant slalom in Val d'Isère, France, in December 1972, 1 day before Pamela Bear's win. At the age of 18 years, 39 days, Gross would win a slalom race only 9 days later, and go on to win 12 World Cup races during his 10-year career. Several other men have also won World Cup races at age 18. The oldest person ever to win a World Cup race is Didier Cuche of Switzerland, who won 3 downhills and a Super G during the 2011-2012 season, most recently at Crans-Montana, Switzerland in February 2012 at the age of 37 years, 192 days. No other men have won a World Cup race beyond the age of 36. The oldest women's World Cup race winner is Elisabeth Görgel of Austria, who won a Super G in Val d'Isère, France, in December 2014 at the age of 33 years, 305 days. 3 of her Austrian teammates, Michaela Dorfmeister, Alexandra Meisnitzer and Anita Wachter, won World Cup races at age 32. The youngest overall World Cup winner is Anne-Marie Moser-Pröll of Austria, who won the women's 1971 Alpine Skiing World Cup at the age of 17. She would go on to retain the overall title for the next 4 seasons, 1972 to 1975, along with the 6th overall title in 1979. The youngest men's overall winner is Piero Gross of Italy, who won the men's 1974 Alpine Skiing World Cup at the age of 19 for his sole overall title. The oldest overall World Cup winner is Stefan Eberharter of Austria, who won the men's 2003 Alpine Skiing World Cup at the age of 33, his second consecutive overall title. The oldest women's overall winner is Vreni Schneider of Switzerland, who won the women's 1995 Alpine Skiing World Cup at the age of 30 for her 3rd overall title. World Cup scoring system. The World Cup scoring system is based on awarding a number of points for each place in a race, but the procedure for doing so and the often arcane method used to calculate the annual champions has varied greatly over the years. Originally, points were awarded only to the top 10 finishers in each race, with 25 points for the winner, 20 for second, 15 for third, 11 for fourth, 8 for fifth, 6 for sixth, 4 for seventh, and then decreasing by 1 point for each lower place. To determine the winner for each discipline World Cup, only a race's best 3 results would count, even though there would typically be 6 to 8 races in each discipline. For the overall cup, the best 3 results in each discipline would be summed. Until 1970, also the results of Winter Olympic Games races and Alpine World Ski Championship races were included in the World Cup valuation, i.e., Grenoble 1968 and Val Gardena 1970. This was abandoned after 1970, mainly due to the limited number of races per nation who are admitted to take part in these events. For the 1971-72 season, the number of results counted was increased to 5 in each discipline. The formula used to determine the overall winner varied almost every year over the next decade, with some seasons divided into 2 portions with a fixed number of results in each period counting towards the overall, while in other seasons the best 3 or 4 results in each discipline would count. Starting with the 1979-80 season, points were awarded to the top 15 finishers in each race. After 1980-81, the formula for the overall title stabilized for several years. counting the best 5 results in the original disciplines, slalom, giant slalom, and downhill, plus the best 3 results in combined. When Super-G events were introduced for the 1982-83 season, the results were included with giant slalom for the first 3 seasons, before a separate discipline cup was awarded starting in 1985-86, and the top 3 Super-G results were counted towards the overall. The formula for the overall was changed yet again the following season, with the top 4 results in each discipline counting, along with all combined results. Although the combined was nearly eliminated from the schedule, reduced to only 1 or 2 events per season. This perennial tweaking of the scoring formula was a source of ongoing uncertainty to the World Cup races and to fans. The need for a complete overhaul of the scoring system had grown increasingly urgent with each successive year, and in 1987-88 the FIS decided to fully simplify the system. All results would now count in each discipline and in the overall. This new system was an immediate success, and the practice of counting all results has been maintained in every subsequent season. With the ongoing expansion of the number and quality of competitors in World Cup races over the years, a major change to the scoring system was implemented in the 1991-92 season. The top 30 finishers in each race would now earn points, with 100 for the winner, 80 for second, 60 for third, and then decreasing by smaller increments for each lower place. The point values were adjusted slightly the following season, to reduce the points for places 4th through 20th, and the scoring system has not been changed again since that year. The table below compares the point values under all 5 scoring systems which have been in use. Note: the scoring system changed during the 1978-79 season. This special system was used for the last 2 men's downhills and the last 3 races in every other discipline except combined. Statistical analysis. Since the top 30 scoring system was implemented in 1991-92, the number of completed men's or women's World Cup races each year has ranged from 30 to 44. So the maximum possible point total for an individual racer is about 3,400 under the current scoring system. However, very few racers actually ski in all events. For example, Bode Miller was the only skier to have competed in every World Cup race during the 3 seasons, from 2003 to 2005. The current record for total World Cup points in a season is Tina Maze's 2,414 points in 2012-13, with a men's record of 2,000 points set by Hermann Maier in 1999-2000. The fewest points for an overall champion under the current system thus far have been 1,009 for men by Axel Lund Svindal in 2008-9 and 1,248 for women by Vreni Schneider in 1994-95. The largest margin of victory in the overall has been Maze's 13 points in 2012-13, more than doubling second-place finisher Maria Hofl Riech's total, while the largest men's margin was 743 points by Hermann Maier in 2000-1. Note that in the early days of World Cup, when the first place was awarded only 25 points, even larger relative margins of victory were recorded in 1967 by Jean-Claude Killy with 225 points, over Heinrich Messner with 114 points, and in 1973-74 by Anne-Marie Moser-Proll with 268 points over Monica Cassera with 153 points. The closest finishes since 1992 have been minuscule margins of 6 points in 1994-95. Vreni Schneider over Katja Ciesinger, 3 points in 2004-5. Anja Parson over Janica Kostelic, and in 2010-11. Maria Riesch over Lindsey Vonn. and only 2 points in 2008-9. Axel Lund swindle over Benjamin Reich. The current men's record for total World Cup points in 1 month of the season is Avita Kostelik's 999 points from January 2011. The tables below contain a brief statistical analysis of the overall World Cup standings during the 21 seasons since the top 30 scoring system was implemented in 1991-92. In general, over 1,000 points are needed to contend for the overall title. At least one man and one woman has scored 1,000 points in each of these seasons, but no more than 5 men's or women's races have crossed that threshold in any single season. Of the 42 men's and women's overall champions in these years, 38 scored over 1,200 points, 30 had over 1,300 points, 19 reached 1,500 points, and only 7 amassed more than 1,700 points during their winning seasons. As for the runners-up, 37 of the 42 second-place finishers scored over 1,000 points, 18 had over 1,300 points, and only 4 reached 1,500 points yet failed to win. Most overall titles have been won quite convincingly, by more than 200 points in 23 of 42 cases, while only 11 margins of victory have been tighter than 50 points. World Cup Finals. Since 1993, the International Ski Federation, FIS, has hosted a World Cup final at the end of each season in March. During 5 days, men's and women's races are held in 4 disciplines: slalom, giant slalom, Super G, and downhill. Only a limited number of races are invited to ski at the finals, including the top 25 in the World Cup standings in each discipline, plus the current junior world champions in each discipline. Because of the smaller field, World Cup points are only awarded to the top 15 finishers in each race. Hosts of the World Cup Finals. The 2004 final was held in all FIS disciplines except ski jumping. The freestyle events were held in neighboring Soest-Doulx and the snowboard events in Bardonecchia. The 2008 final was held in all FIS disciplines except ski jumping. The freestyle and snowboard events were held in neighboring Valmalenko. Parallel slalom. Nations Cup. World Cup. Note: only parallel events from 1975, 1997, 2011 to 2013, 2016 count in overall ranking are considered as individual World Cup victories. Other parallel events from 1976 to 1991, 2009 counted only for Nations Cup and were just show events. Parallel giant slalom, introduced as a spectator-friendly event by the International Ski Federation in late 2015 on the World Cup circuit. The parallel competition, normally reserved for slalom types, hopes to lure more of the higher-speed folks into the faster of the two technical disciplines. It is hoped that their fans follow them to the venue, online, and on television. The Federation has not indicated, as of early 2016, that they are fully committed to duplicating the effort. However, their long-term calendar shows that the plan is to return to Alta Badia 12 months after the inaugural event in December 2016, and then again, tentatively, through December 2018. Few venues offer the slope and conditions required to present an extremely short giant slalom course that is readily viewed in its entirety by a concentrated gallery of fans, modified or not. The Federation has not mentioned that they will push the format to lesser tours like the NORAM and Europa Cup. World Cup. The chief race director of the inaugural event, Marcus Waldner, on 20 December 2015 stated that great performances and head-to-head fights between the best giant slalom races is the goal of the competition. The course was very compact at about 20 to 22 seconds duration. or about one-third of a normal GS run. However, the pace and cadence will be the same as giant slalom, not standard slalom. Gates were set at the same rough distances as GS and on a slope about the same pitch. The field of 32 were drawn following an invitational format. The top 4 overall ranked men present were automatic invitees if they chose to compete. Another 16 races were selected from the top of the current GS start list rankings, and the final 12 competitors were selected from the first run efforts at the standard GS event the day prior. At the same venue, overlapping qualifications allowed the sponsors to invite lower-ranked participants to fill in gaps as needed, and to replace individuals who declined to participate. Points were awarded and accumulated according to current standards for the race season in all relevant categories. The GS discipline. Overall and Nations Cup, the field was filled with 32 first-round participants, each getting a run on either course. The best combined times moved the fastest racer to the second round through bracket preference protocols. After that, bracket reduction was a one-run-and-done format, with the dominant skier from the previous round granted course selection between the red right or blue left lane. At about one-third the time of a standard GS event, top performers, finalists, were able to make multiple runs without the fatigue of a longer event. The course was methodically set with lasers and a GPS-equipped snowcat to guarantee that both lanes on the hill were as identical as possible to ensure equity and a fair competition. The race director suggested the difference between the two lanes were within 1 to 2 centimeters tolerance of one another. Nations Cup. The Nations Cup standings are calculated by adding up all points each season for all races from a given nation. The early years of the World Cup were largely dominated by the French ski team, as reflected in their Nations Cup wins in 5 of the first 6 years. The Austrian team then took over throughout the rest of the 1970s, followed by Swiss superiority during most of the 1980s. A resurgent Austrian team charged back to the top in 1988, beginning a long streak of consecutive Nations Cup triumphs. Austrian dominance reached its zenith in the late 1990s and 2000s decade, when the points total regularly doubled that of the second-place finisher, and was capped in the 1999, 2000 and 2003-04 seasons with totals that tripled those of runner-up Italy. Their 17,927-point total in 1999-2000 is a Nations Cup record, as is their 12,066-point margin of victory in 2003-04. As of the end of the 2015-16 season, the Austrian team has won 29 consecutive Nations Cups, while topping the men's standings for 24 straight years and the women's for 18 in a row. Austria is the only nation to have finished in the top 3 of the Nations Cup standings in all 50 years in which World Cup competition has been held, winning in 38 of those years, runner-up in 11 years, and third place in a single year. Austrian men have failed to make the podium in only one season. 1972. Austrian women have failed to make the podium in only 2 seasons. 1981 and 1982. Switzerland with 7 wins and France with 5 wins are the only other nations to have won the Nations Cup. In the midst of the ongoing Austrian juggernaut, the Swiss or Italian teams have usually held second place. The German team reached the runner-up spot for the first time in 1997-08, as did the Norwegians the next season. The US enjoyed its best placings ever starting in 2004-05, grabbing second in the Nations Cup for 2 straight years. Under the current scoring system, since 1992, the winning nation, Austria, every year, has averaged over 13,000 points, with an average of over 6,400 for the runner-up. 5,400 for third place, 4,200 for fifth, and 1,300 for 10th. The all-inclusive scoring system, simply adding together all World Cup points earned, favors national teams with great depth and many races scoring World Cup points. And even teams with several top races have no realistic chance of breaking the Austrian grip on the top spot, while a team with only one or two top-ranked races will struggle to ever break the top 5 in the standings. There have been numerous calls for a revamped scoring system which would allow other nations to compete more readily for top spots in the Nations Cup. But no changes are likely to be made. In 2016, however, the Austrian men's team narrowly beat France by just 201 points. The total number of top 3 placings for each nation in the Nations Cup through the 2015-16 season are summarized below. Note: results for West Germany and Germany are counted together in this table. Nations which have won World Cup races. The table below lists those nations which have won at least one World Cup race. Current as of the 31st of January 2017. Individual race wins are counted in this table, along with the nations' team events held at World Cup finals since 2006. Counts double as both men and women in mixed competition contribute to a win. The parallel race is a head-to-head slalom race format used occasionally from the 1970s through 1990s, and again in 2011. Team event wins are doubled, because on one team event race competed both women and men, so it's counted separately each for women and men. Results for West Germany and Germany are counted together in this table. All of Yugoslavia's wins are currently lumped in with Slovenia, since the skiers who won races for former Yugoslavia were all Slovenes from Slovenia, one of 6 Yugoslav republics, and thus are listed under Slovenia in online databases. The Soviet Union and Russia are counted separately, as are Czechoslovakia and the Czech Republic. A total of 24 countries have won World Cup races, with 19 different countries winning men's races and 20 winning women's races. As expected, the top 10 nations in this list are the same as the 10 nations listed in the Nations Cup summary table, with slight changes in order. Some interesting facts can be found in the data. Marc Girardelli accounted for all of Luxembourg's 46 wins, while Janica Kostelic has 30 of Croatia's 56 and her brother Ivica has the rest. Ingemar Stenmark still has nearly one half of Sweden's 192 wins, more than 2 decades after his retirement. Some nations specialize in either speed, downhill and Super G, or technical, slalom and GS, disciplines, while others are strong across the board. Among nations with 30-plus wins, the Canadian team has won 73% of its races in speed events, while Yugoslavia, Slovenia has won 84% and Sweden 86% of their races in technical events. Especially notable in Sweden's case given its large number of wins. Several nations with under 30 wins have 100% of them in technical events, led by Finland and Spain. In contrast, Germany and Norway have the most even distribution without disproportionate strength or weakness in any one discipline. Some nations have strong teams in only one gender, as 92% of Norway's wins have come from their men and 83% of Germany's from their women, while the Swiss and Canadian totals are split almost equally. Multi-winners. Crystal Globe. Since 1967, the Big Crystal Globe has been awarded for the overall title. From the beginning to 1976-77, discipline titles were awarded with medals. Statistically, those titles have the same value as the small Crystal Globes, which first appeared for discipline titles in slalom, giant slalom and downhill in the 1977-78. In Super G, The small globe has been awarded since 1985-86 for Super G races in the 3 seasons previous. Points were added and calculated in the giant slalom ranking. In combined, the small crystal globe was officially awarded only between 2007 to 2012. Before that, combined season winners could not officially be considered as season titles. In those years FIS simply calculated points from the other 2 races, DH and SL. See also Alpine skiing at the Winter Olympics. FIS Alpine World Ski Championships. Media related to FIS Alpine Skiing World Cup at Wikimedia Commons. FIS Alpine. FIS Alpine World Cup, official website. Ski World Cup. Org. History of the World Cup, by Serge Lang. See also Isha. History of the World Cup. FIS Ski. Official results for FIS Alpine World Cup events. SkiDB. World Cup results database. Alpine Canada Alpine, Canadian Alpine Ski Team. U.S. Ski and Snowboard Association. U.S. Ski Team. Podium places in the World Cup Women Top 150. Podium places in the World Cup Men Top 150.